Hotstart, the world leader in engine heating solutions. Hotstart is committed to providing our customers with the best support possible. This step-by-step guide is intended to assist you in proper engine heater maintenance procedures and troubleshooting for your Hotstart heater. All work should be performed by a qualified technician. Disconnect the power supply while performing any installation or maintenance procedures to the engine heater. Never work on the heater while the power supply is connected. Never operate the heater unless coolant is present in the heating chamber. Hotstart recommends the use of isolation valves for tank-style heater installations to facilitate maintenance and servicing of the engine heater. Always be certain that isolation valves are open whenever the heater is energized to permit the flow of coolant. Planning regular inspections and maintenance of your Hotstart heater will ensure that it continues to run at peak efficiency. Evaluate heater operation by checking the heater return hose temperature and cycle rate. While the heater is in operation, the return hose should be warm to the touch, but never exceed 180 degrees Fahrenheit. Also make sure that the heater is not cycling on and off more than 4 times per hour. If these requirements are not being met, the troubleshooting section of this video will offer tips to improve heater performance. During the inspection, check for leaking or cracked hoses and replace if necessary. Check electrical wiring and connections for wear and excessive heat. About every 2 years, you should flush the cooling system and replace the engine coolant. Be sure to de-energize the heater before draining the system. This would be a good time to remove the element from the tank and inspect both the tank and element to ensure they are free of contamination and buildup. Hotstart recommends replacing the control thermostat every 3 years or 25,000 hours of operation. The control thermostat is located near the inlet port of the heater. If the thermostat is actuating a control contactor, the contactor should also be periodically inspected and replaced as needed. If your Hotstart heater is not functioning properly, consider the following troubleshooting tips. Start by inspecting the engine port locations. To ensure even engine heating, the inlet to the heater should draw low from the engine and return high. If the ports are too close together, the coolant will not have an opportunity to warm the engine before returning to the heater. Check to see if excess heat is being rejected to the radiator. If the top tank of the radiator is getting hot, this could indicate that the heater return is too close to the engine thermostat, causing heated coolant to flow into the radiator. Consider using a different port to return hot coolant to the engine. If a remote thermostat is installed in the engine, check its location to ensure there is adequate distance between the thermostat and the heater return port. If the remote thermostat is installed too close to the heater return port, it will detect the hot coolant temperature and cause the heater to de-energize prematurely before adequately heating the entire engine. Check to see if the heater is properly mounted. The heater should be positioned to minimize hose length, but not too high in relation to the engine. The heater should be installed at least 6 inches below the lowest point of the water jacket. Make sure the heater is not mounted directly to the engine. The heater must not be positioned upside down or sideways. The heater outlet port must be located at the uppermost point of the heater. Check the inlet and outlet hose routings. There must not be any high points in the hose leading to the heater. The heater return plumbing must have a continuous rise all the way to the engine and never be routed above the highest point of the engine's water jacket. Look for any kinks or restrictions in the hose. If the heater is not keeping the engine warm enough, the heater's wattage rating may not be adequate for the application. Consider replacing the heater with one that has a higher wattage output. To determine the correct wattage, consult Hotstart for recommendations based on engine size. Check the supply voltage to verify that it's within plus or minus 10% of the heater's specified voltage. Supply voltage outside of this range will significantly affect the wattage output of the heater. If your Hotstart heater quits working completely, disconnect the power to the heater and test the continuity across the element and thermostats. At room temperature, they should all have continuity across the connections. Replace any faulty components as required. For a complete guide on properly installing your engine heater, refer to Hotstart's tank heater installation video. Burnout of the heater element and thermostat failure are the two most common engine heater failures. There are several things that could lead to these. A thermostat's service life is based on the number of on-off cycles. Improper installation may cause the thermostat to cycle excessively, considerably reducing its life expectancy. Replacing the thermostat at recommended maintenance intervals will avoid unexpected downtime. A burned-out heater element could be the result of an air pocket in the heating chamber that exposed the element to air. This usually occurs when there is coolant loss, such as a leak. Occasionally, this also happens when the heater is left energized during engine servicing. Improper hose routing at either the supply or return sides of the heater can restrict coolant flow through the heating chamber. Poor flow results in excessive element temperature, which can lead to scaling and eventual burnout of the heating element. To learn more about the best ways to route your inlet and outlet hoses, refer to the section titled Proper Hose Routing in Hotstart's tank heater installation video. Excessive antifreeze concentration or mixing antifreeze with hard water will attack the heating element and will ultimately result in element failure. For proper coolant mixtures, refer to your engine manufacturer's recommendations and watch the section titled Filling the Engine and Eliminating Air of Hotstart's tank heater installation video. Reliable and efficient operation of the Hotstart engine heater is dependent on proper mounting location and installation. With routine maintenance and service inspections, your Hotstart engine heater will provide years of dependable engine heating. For more information about Hotstart products and services, visit Hotstart.com. Hotstart, the world leader in engine heating solutions.